Let's dive into this whole Kevin O'Connell trade rumor. Because it's one of those stories that really makes you stop and think about how the NFL's chessboard moves behind the scenes. You've probably seen it pop back up on social media. That whisper that the Vikings might have considered trading O'Connell, or that some team, maybe even the Bears, could have been in the mix to snag him. At first glance, it sounds wild, right? I mean, Kevin O'Connell is a young, rising head coach who's already put together some impressive numbers. Why would the Vikings, a team that seems committed to building around him, even entertain the idea of moving him? And then the timing of the leak is just weird. Right before week 18, when the Vikings got thrashed by the Lions, it felt off, almost like someone wanted to stir the pot. The most common theory is that O'Connell's own camp orchestrated the leak, maybe as a strategic play to get a better contract or to push his value in the market. That seems plausible, and honestly, it's a classic move in the business side of football. But what if there's more to the story? What if O'Connell knew that the Bears were already in a coaching search, having fired Matt Eberflus, and figured that leaking this information could put Chicago on high alert? Picture this. You're a young coach. You know Caleb Williams is a huge fan of your work, and you sense that the Bears might jump at the chance to bring you in if you're available. Dropping a little insider info at the right moment could spark some interest, lead to trade talks, and ultimately bump up your salary. It's a bold tactic, but in a league where leverage is everything, it wouldn't be surprising. That said, let's be real. The Vikings trading Kevin O'Connell, highly unlikely. This is a team that's invested heavily in him and clearly sees him as the future, and trading him within the division, that's practically off the table. So in the grand scheme, the rumor probably didn't have much chance of turning into reality, but it's still an interesting angle to consider because it highlights just how much strategy goes on behind closed doors. Sometimes the biggest moves start with a simple leak or a well-timed rumor. If O'Connell had actually been on the market though, it's safe to say teams would have been lining up. Under 40 with playoff appearances in 2 of his 3 seasons, including double-digit wins twice. He's built a reputation for developing quarterbacks and running effective offenses. The question now is whether he can replicate that success with Caleb Williams in Chicago. Last year, he did some impressive work with Sam Darnold, transforming a struggling offense into something that looked competitive. So the potential is there. As for the Bears, it's full speed ahead with Ben Johnson taking the reins. If you're excited about this new era, you're definitely not alone. The hope is that Johnson can bring fresh energy and a solid game plan that elevates the team. And wouldn't it be something if, in week 1, they ended up facing O'Connell's Vikings and came out on top? That would be a story for the ages. Switching gears a bit, the classic Chicago baseball rivalry comes up. Cubs or White Sox? I don't have a strong allegiance anymore, but growing up my team was the Astros. I haven't really followed regular season baseball in years, mostly just playoffs. Still, I was a Cubs fan as a kid, mainly because of guys like Zambrano and Aramis Ramirez. Those were fun players to watch. But honestly, if you want to make a case for why I should root for the Cubs or the White Sox, I'm all ears. Drop your arguments in the comments and maybe you'll convert me. Back to football, let's talk about Luther Burden. There's a lot of buzz that he could be the Bears version of Deebo Samuel. From a route running perspective, there's definitely potential. Burden seems smoother and maybe a bit less physical, but he could excel in open space, making defenders miss. Deebo's more about power and running through tackles, while Burden might rely on agility and finesse. It's an intriguing comparison, and if Burden can bring even half of what Deebo does, the Bears will have a serious weapon on their hands. Now, what about the quarterback situation beyond Caleb? There's been talk about whether Tyson could be effective if he started all season. It's a tricky question because Tyson doesn't have the same arm strength or mobility he once did, but he's smart and knows how to get the ball out quickly. When Justin Fields was out a couple years back, Tyson showed some flashes, almost like a poor man's less mobile Brock Purdy. Not quite the same talent, but perhaps a capable backup with upside. Ben Johnson's offense could fit Tyson's style, and with the right game plan, he could surprise some people if called upon. On the defensive side, there's the question of whether trading Cole Kmet for Trey Hendrickson makes sense. It sounds like a fair offer on paper. Kmet and a mid-round pick for a pass rusher who could make an immediate impact. But there are concerns about the tight end depth behind Kmet, especially with Colston Lovell still developing and recovering from injury. The Bears will be risking a lot in that department, so while the trade has its appeal, the practical side makes it less likely. Looking ahead to the running backs, it's hard to say the group inspires a ton of confidence right now. DeAndre Swift offers explosiveness, especially as a pass catcher, and that fits nicely with Ben Johnson's offense. The big question is consistency, especially when running between the tackles. Swift isn't known for elite vision in those tight spaces, so it's something to watch. Meanwhile, Roschon Johnson and Kyle Manengai are still unproven as reliable backups. Maybe one steps up, but it's a gamble. Adding another proven runner might be a priority before the season kicks off. If the Bears finish the year with around 8 to 10 wins but miss the playoffs or bow out early, the expectation for 2026 would be clear. Build on that foundation, get Caleb Williams to make another leap, and push for a playoff win. With such a young roster and a franchise quarterback on a rookie deal, patience mixed with steady progress is the name of the game. Maximizing Caleb Williams' rookie contract is already happening to some extent. The first year felt wasted, with coaching hires and staff decisions that didn't quite click. But this offseason, the Bears have brought in some top offensive coaching talent, upgraded the offensive line on paper, and added more weapons around Caleb. There's still room for improvement. A reliable north-south running back would be ideal, but the pieces are falling into place. The idea of swinging big at a pass rusher before week 1 or at the trade deadline is intriguing. If the Bears are 5-2 and Caleb is clicking but the pass rush isn't there, a move to bring in a controllable young pass rusher could be the key to turning the team from playoff hopeful to serious contender. It's a calculated risk, but one that could pay dividends down the line. When it comes to Tyrique Stevenson, the consensus seems to be that he's sticking around unless he's truly outperformed by the likes of Terrell Smith or Z Frazier, and the Bears feel he can't handle a backup role. Trading him for a late-round pick wouldn't shock anyone in that scenario, but otherwise, he's a player they want to develop, especially with Al Harris as a mentor. As for Caleb and his development, there's been some chatter about his film, study habits, and whether the coaching staff or Caleb himself bear responsibility for any shortcomings in preparation. Opinions vary, but it's clear that last season's struggles had multiple factors. Given that Caleb was one of the most successful rookie quarterbacks in the league, it makes sense to lean towards supporting him while expecting improvements from the coaching staff. Looking forward to the season, Caleb is projected to rack up over 26 total touchdowns, including both passing and rushing. Unlike last year, the expectation is that he'll be more involved in the running game and find the end zone on the ground several times. If that happens, it's a sign of real growth and a promising future for the Bears offense, moving deeper. Into the off-season discussions on what to expect from the Bears in the near future, it's impossible not to circle back to the quarterback room and the crucial role that coaching plays. Caleb Williams is undoubtedly the centerpiece of this rebuild, and the pressure on both him and the staff to perform is enormous. The new offensive coordinator and the revamped coaching staff have a massive responsibility to harness Caleb's talent, and there's cautious optimism that the pieces finally align. We're no longer in the phase of just hoping Caleb can stay healthy or learning the ropes. The expectation now is clear. He must lead this team to wins, and the offense must be efficient and dynamic. One big question that fans and analysts alike are throwing around is whether Caleb's style will evolve this year. Last season, his ability to scramble and make plays on the run masked some of the offensive line's shortcomings, but that can only carry a team so far. The Bears have invested heavily in improving the offensive line, and if that group can hold their ground, Caleb's role might shift more towards being a traditional pocket passer. That could mean more designed dropbacks, cleaner throws, and ultimately fewer risky scrambles that can wear on a quarterback's body over a long season. But knowing Caleb's athleticism, it's hard to imagine him ever fully abandoning the dynamic playmaking style that made him a star in college. The coaching staff's challenge will be balancing those instincts with a system that protects him and maximizes his strengths. Beyond Caleb, the supporting cast is starting to look more promising, but it's still a work in progress. The wide receiver core has been bolstered with some young talent and promising draft picks, but consistency remains a concern. Having weapons who can win one-on-one matchups, run crisp routes, and create separation is essential for any quarterback's success, especially in a league where defenses are faster and more aggressive than ever. If the receivers can stay healthy and develop chemistry with Caleb, the offense could really open up and become a nightmare for defenses. Add to that a running back who can reliably pick up tough yards between the tackles, and the Bears might finally have a balanced attack that keeps defenses guessing. On the defensive side of the ball, the story is different but equally important. The Bears have been rebuilding this unit for several seasons, and while there are flashes of promise, their overall consistency isn't quite there yet. Pass rush remains a glaring weakness, which has real implications not only for the defense, but for the offense as well. Without pressure on the opposing quarterback, defenses have to drop fewer players into coverage, which makes it harder to create turnovers and easier for opposing offenses to methodically move down the field. That's why any move to add a difference-making edge rusher would instantly improve the team's chances. Whether it's through free agency, trade, or the draft, the Bears need to find someone who can disrupt plays and give the defense a needed spark. The secondary has been an area of both promise and frustration. Young players show flashes of excellent coverage skills, but lapses in focus and experience have led to costly mistakes. It's a classic situation for a rebuilding defense, talented players who need more time and coaching to reach their potential. The Bears coaching staff will have to emphasize fundamentals and communication if this group is going to take a step forward and prevent the big plays that have haunted the team in recent years. As the season approaches, managing expectations will be key. Fans are hungry for success, and rightly so, especially with a new franchise quarterback in Caleb Williams. But rebuilding takes time, and the pressure to win immediately can sometimes backfire if it forces a team to make rash decisions or abandon long-term plans. The ideal scenario for the Bears is steady growth. Each week, each game, showing improvement on both sides of the ball. If they can reach the playoffs, that would be a huge accomplishment and a clear sign of progress. But even if they fall just short, maintaining momentum and developing young talent will keep the franchise on a positive trajectory. One of the fascinating dynamics this offseason has been watching how the Bears handle their draft picks and free agent acquisitions. With a rookie quarterback like Caleb, the draft is critical. You want to surround him with players who can contribute early, especially on offense and defense. Smart drafting means targeting skill positions and impact defenders without neglecting depth and special teams. The Bears have been fairly disciplined in this regard, avoiding flashy but risky picks in favor of players who fit the team's culture and scheme. That approach might not grab headlines, but it's often the foundation for sustainable success. In free agency, the Bears have been cautious but opportunistic, aiming to bring in veterans who can mentor young players and fill immediate needs, without breaking the bank or sacrificing future flexibility. It's a balancing act that many teams struggle with, investing in proven talent without mortgaging the future. So far, the Bears seem to understand this well, focusing on role players and specialists who can contribute in key moments rather than chasing big names that might not fit the system or culture. As the regular season draws nearer, another interesting storyline will be the battle for starting spots and roles. Football is a brutal, competitive sport, and every training camp comes with tough decisions. Players who don't perform or fit the scheme could find themselves on the sidelines or even cut. That competition often brings out the best in players, pushing them to elevate their game. For fans, it means a more exciting camp and preseason as the team juggles developing young talent and preparing for the grind of a 17-game schedule. The Bears' schedule itself is a mix of challenging opponents and more manageable matchups. Division games will always be intense, with rivals who know each other well and often play with extra passion. Winning within a division is crucial for playoff positioning, so those games carry extra weight. Outside the division, there are opportunities to build momentum and rack up wins, but no game can be taken lightly. In today's NFL, any team can pull off an upset, especially if a key player gets hot or a game plan exploits a weakness. Lastly, the fan base's patience and passion will be a major factor this season. Chicago fans are famously demanding, but also deeply loyal. They want to see results, but they also understand the grind of rebuilding. The relationship between the team, and its supporters can be a powerful motivator, especially during tough stretches. If the Bears can deliver flashes of brilliance and a clear direction, the stadium will be electric, giving Caleb and the team that extra boost they need. In summary, the Bears are at a pivotal moment. With a promising young quarterback, a coaching staff eager to prove themselves, and a roster still coming together, the path forward is filled with both challenges and opportunities. Success won't come overnight, but with smart decisions and a bit of luck, this season could mark the beginning of something special for Chicago football. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy, drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are swirling in the NFL world, stirring excitement and disbelief alike. Rumors suggest that Caleb Williams, the sensational quarterback formerly of the Chicago Bears, may have just pulled off one of the most shocking moves of the season, signing with a rival team. This possible switch has ignited a firestorm of speculation and anticipation among fans and analysts alike. Williams, who has been the rising star for the Bears, is rumored to have agreed to terms with a key competitor in the AVO League. If true, this move would not only send shockwaves through Chicago's locker room, but also dramatically reshape the dynamics between these long-standing rivals. Known for his electric playmaking and leadership on the field, Caleb's potential transfer could tilt the balance of power in the division. Sources close to the matter hint that negotiations have been intense and secretive, with the rival team eager to secure the talented quarterback who has dazzled with his arm strength, mobility, and ability to perform under pressure. Fans of the Bears are reportedly anxious, fearing the loss of their star could lead to a decline in their offensive prowess. Meanwhile, the rival team supporters are buzzing with excitement, hopeful that Williams will bring the spark needed to push them into championship contention. While official confirmations remain elusive, insiders suggest the deal is either finalized or very close to completion. Speculation continues to mount about the terms of the contract and what this means for both franchises moving forward. Could this be the start of a new era for Caleb Williams, or merely a strategic play in the high-stakes world of NFL trades? Regardless of the outcome, one thing is clear: Caleb Williams is at the center of a thrilling saga that could redefine rivalries and rewrite expectations this season. Fans and analysts alike are watching closely, waiting to see if this rumor will become reality and what explosive impact it might have on the league. The buzz is real, and if this deal goes through, the NFL landscape will never look the same. Again, that's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.